This is a tutorial video on basic operations that you can do on the TI-8384 family of Texas Instrument calculators. In this tutorial, I would like to show you some very basic features of the calculator, including some of the basic arithmetic operations. First of all, in order to do any basic arithmetic operations, I need to be on the home screen of the calculator. No matter what window that I'm currently in, right now I'm in a graphing window, above the mode key is the quit button in blue. In fact, every key has a blue feature or option above it. To access that blue option, I would click the blue second key and then the button that I'm trying to access the blue feature above. So in this case, I would like to quit the current menu that I'm in and go to the home screen. I will click second mode and quit the graphing screen. Now I'm at the home screen. Now once I'm at the home screen, I can do any basic arithmetic operations that I would like to do. For example, over on the left here, you'll notice I have an addition problem. So to perform that addition problem on my calculator, I'll punch the number 7 and the addition sign and then 2.5. And on these calculators, the enter button down in the bottom right is my equals key. And you can see the way the calculator outputs the answer is to the bottom right of the line of work. So to do the addition problem, -5 plus 23, on my calculator I would want to use the negative key. I want to point out to you that this key over here is the subtraction key. This is the negative key. So I would do -5 plus 23 and hit enter as my equal sign. And that's kind of funny. As you can see, I made a mistake over here. Obviously -5 plus 23 is positive 18, not negative 18. Good reason for using the calculator to always check our arithmetic. Let's say that I wanted to do a little more detailed of a division problem. Let's say I wanted to have 2 plus 3 divided by 4 plus 5. The reason that I'm showing you that problem is there are parenthesis buttons on my calculator here and here. And I want to make sure to stress orders of operations, because in this division problem over here, the orders of operations are that I must add in the numerator and in the denominator respectively first before I divide. So I want to use parentheses to stress to the calculator 2 plus 3 is in the numerator, and then I'm going to divide that numerator by, in parentheses, 4 plus 5. I always say, when in doubt, always use parentheses. Now the question is that the answer of 5/9? And the quickest way to see if this is the answer 5/9 is to hit the math key, and the very first option is frac. So I'm going to highlight, notice how that's highlighted. I'm going to go back up there, highlight that and hit enter, and it's going to take my most recent answer and convert it to a fraction. When I hit enter, it'll tell me that that's 5/9. So obviously the four basic arithmetic operations are over here. Here's my negative sign. Now let's suppose I want to do some exponent work. So I have some examples here about exponents, and in fact I picked some examples that use negative numbers just to caution you again on usage of parentheses. So if I have -5 squared, that's the same thing as -5 times -5, which is positive 25. And on my calculator, I'm going to want to make sure I use parentheses to stress the -5 is being squared. Two ways to do the square. There's an actual square key right here. I can hit square and it will give me the answer 25. The other way to raise things to powers is what is called the caret key over here. So I could do this exact same problem, parenthesis, -5, close parenthesis, and I could say raised to the power of 2, and that is the same thing as squaring. We use the square so often that they very kindly put a special key for the square, but I could always use the caret key for any power that I want to raise a number to. Now again, this example illustrates usage of parentheses. This was negative 5 squared. This is the opposite of 5 squared. And in fact, what that really means, it's the opposite of 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. I take the opposite of that. So that's negative 25. So in my calculator, if I don't use parentheses, and I say the opposite of 5 squared, that's exactly how the calculator is going to interpret that. It's going to square the 5, then take the opposite of that number. Okay? Now, square root, you'll notice above the square key in blue is the square root key. So here's where I would want to do second square to invoke the square root function. Now in this case, I did kind of a multi-operation. Just like in this division problem up here, I had to use parentheses for the numerator and denominator. I want to use parentheses for everything under the radical. Notice how the calculator doesn't extend the radical here. So I just want to make sure that I say 12 plus 4 is under the radical, and I'm going to close off the radical with the parenthesis. So of course I could just punch in the square root of 16 to get that answer. But I just wanted to point out to you to stress using parentheses when necessary. And then another common is the cube power. So 3 cubed is 27. Again, I could say 3 raised to the power of 3, and that's 27. We use the cube almost as frequently as the square. So under the math key, where is it at? Here's math. Under the math key is a cube feature. You'll notice number 3 right there is the cube. Number 4 is the cube root. So if I second mode, quit, back to the home screen, I could say 3, and then I'll go math and highlight number 3, hit enter, and there's 3 cubed. That's 27. Okay. Same thing with the cube root. So I could do math and choose number 4. And this time, instead of arrowing down to number 4, a kind of shortcut is I could just punch number 4, and it's going to jump right to the cube root. So the cube root of 27, close off the root, is 3. Okay. One last basic operation I want to show you is absolute value, and it's back under the math key. If I go back to math, I actually have to click the arrow button one time. There's 4 menus under the math key. The cube root, and the fraction feature were under the math. I need to go to the num menu. So I'm going to hit the right arrow. I hit the math key, then I hit the right arrow to go to the num menu. And the very first option is ABS. So since it's highlighted, I can hit enter, or I can just punch the number 1 and call out the ABS. So this is the absolute value of, let's say, negative 8. Close off my absolute value with the parenthesis and hit enter, and there's 8. Okay, so again, here's an illustration. Absolute value of negative 8 is 8. And under the math key, click the right arrow. Under num is ABS. Absolute value of negative 25. Close the absolute value, and that's 25. Thank you for watching this tutorial on basic operations.